How many of you attend Nathan's speech about the Elm introduction? Oh, good. So how many of you know Elm or heard of Elm? Good. And any programming Elm or practice? Anyone? Oh, good. So whatever I say, so I know there's no expert here. This is kind of follow-up after Nathan's great introduction of the Elm, but I try to skip the all introduction part as far as we can go. Before I start, I want to talk about a little bit my background. So I started Java programmer since '97 when I switched from C++ to Java because I found Java so cool, object-oriented and write once, run everywhere. Then I started my career as the Java developer programmer when I graduated from UFA in 2000. So I did lots of the GUI stuff with Java, like Java Applet, Java AWT, Swing, even did some Eclipse SWT. And later I became called enterprise application developer. Now everything totally changed. Everything I become is using the backend or server-side GUI development, like JSP, Java server pages. But JSP sucks a lot. So we changed to Apache Struts. That's a framework. It's a very good framework. And we introduced called MVC, Modern View Controller. Then later, we found out Apache Struts also sucks. So we have the WebWorks, then Struts 2, now we have Java server faces. So actually, I spent 6 years in a big project using Oracle ADF faces. Give me lots of headache. I hate that. Because in my opinion, I found out any GUI stuff or user interaction should be as close to user as possible. Anything like rendering on the server side is a big mistake. For my opinion, it's a wrong approach. So I tried to find some alternative. The first alternative is called GWT, Google Web Toolkit. Actually, you code with Java, and you translate or compile to JavaScript and build everything running inside the browser. It was very cool. So I jumped into this GWT bandwagon, tried to do something, I did some project, and I was so depressed. This is a headache. It's still not good. It's big disaster. Now back to JavaScript because I found out write once, run everywhere is not for Java, it's for JavaScript. The JavaScript, that's the only language can run in every browser. And web browser is only runtime environment for any user. So I switched to JavaScript for any GUI stuff. First with the jQuery, it's so popular and very mature. Now I tried to learn framework because jQuery is just library. It's not good. It's not complete. It still needs lots of code to put them together. So I tried to learn some framework, Backbone, Dojo, XTJS, and it all sucks. So I hate that. Now we come into called a single page application area. So everything should be loaded in one big chunk of the JavaScript file and run everything in the browser. And we don't need to go to server to do a round trip of the server-side rendering. Everything rendered in the browser called a single page application. Now I found AngularJS. Oh, that's my savior. So good because I can really write code, can build a single page application easily. But it's not that, still changing. Then React.js came out. So I look at React.js. I like the flag pattern or whatever, flags. I like it very much because the one-way data flow. I think that's the right approach. But when I look at the JSX, my goodness, let's just say, no, I don't want to use that. It brings me the bad memory of the JSP. So I kept back to the Angular 2. I'm using TypeScript. So when finally released last year, so then I switched my application to Angular 2 and TypeScript. It looks good, and Angular 2 I feel is much better than Angular 1, but I still have some issues. I found out still have some issues. I'm not satisfied because I don't know how to say that, but I'm not satisfied with this approach. So I go back to React. I found Redux. Redux is cool. This called like a immutable object, a data store, and a one-way data flow. So I look at Redux. Now I watched all the presentation by the creator, Dan Abroff, and he said he was inspired by the Elm language. So I thought, oh, Elm, I never heard of that. I take a look at the Elm. Oh, that's kind of eye-opening. It's totally different. It's really another alternative I found out is very interesting, and I want to invest my time into that. That's how I came to Elm. It's a pretty long way, 20 years. So last time, Mason did a good job to introduce Elm, so I don't need to do again. So also, the Elm is kind of like a Vue, one-person project by same event, but C. It's not even U, it's even C. It's a pure function language, so it's totally new language. It's not like a Java or JavaScript or any of other like C language. It's actually it derived from the Haskell. It's a functional language and totally different. It's strong type. I love strong type. Came from the Java background. When I try to do the JavaScript programming, I just easily lost. Easily got so confused by the dynamic typing. So strong typed language is my preferred language. And also compile to JavaScript. So you write the Elm code, then you compile, build that into a JavaScript code, and then deploy, and then run inside browser. So actually everything, JavaScript becomes the assembly language. That's why we need a WebAssembly. And no runtime errors. Hopefully, somebody or me can talk about this, no runtime errors. There are lots of features about Elm. We may not have time to cover, but today, I want to focus on the Elm architecture. The language itself is interesting, but the Elm architecture is more interesting, in my opinions. So when I learned the Redux actually is the library. It's on the top of the React. It's all you can see. This is kind of like a patterns. You make the data store as an immutable data store. Then you flow the data between different parts, the view and your models. So this is a kind of extra layer on the top of the React. But Redux inspired by Elm, actually by Elm architecture. And Elm architecture is not just library or plugin or another layer. The Elm architecture actually is a language itself. So try to use Elm or learn Elm to understand Elm. You have to understand the Elm architecture because that's the fundamental things of those language. So that's totally different from other JavaScript framework. The thing is, when we start doing the GUI applications, we are familiar with the model view controller pattern or some other fancy word like model view, view model patterns, whatever patterns, we always separate our code into different parts. Model, we have this our data or business, whatever your data is. The view is how to present your data, either in a component tree or GUI tree or in HTML page. Then controller is how we interact, how we put them together. But in the Elm architecture, a little bit different. We still have model. So let's say we still have model. The model, you can think about model is the immutable data store, like a Redux. You have the record, the data in the model. And the view become the function. So actually, view is a function. The input is the model. The output is the HTML. Or it's kind of virtual DOM. And you put all this thing into Elm runtime. We can think about the Elm runtime as the big black box with all the magic inside. We don't need to fully understand what's going on inside this Elm runtime. We just say, okay, it did everything for us. All we need to do is we provide the model, we provide the view function, and we provide update function. So in the Elm architecture, actually it's a three part: the update, model, and view. So it's a model, view, update, whatever. And the thing is, when the view return HTML page or whatever, like a div or component, the Elm runtime will handle all the rendering in a virtual DOM. And whatever happened, either use a click button or select menu or drop down, whatever, the Elm runtime will generate a message to our update function. Then our update function will handle the message and then generate new model based on the old model, because the model is an immutable object. So the input is the model, output is the new model. So let's look at some example to understand, because I rather to show the code instead of this slides. So we see this is like a Elm language runtime in the browser. We have the import other component from Elm libraries. We can skip that if you don't understand. Then the key part is the main. So every Elm application should have a main function. We use their core functions begin the program, and we pass those records to that with the model, view, and update. Then it will magically, the Elm runtime will set up and all render these things into a web application. So let's look at the view. So view is very simple. The view is a function. This is the input. This input parameter is a model. Let me see. So this is the body of the function. It's just a HTML div. So look at this. Very interesting is those div, button, and text is all HTML keywords. But they format in a different way, in a functional way. So when I first look at that, I just say, oh, that's the last way I want to code HTML. Because when I look at the JSX, I say, I don't like that. They're so mixed, all the HTML, JavaScript together. I hate that. But when I look at this, it's also mixed HTML and like a kind of function together. But I like that because everything is all Elm functions. A little bit different from like angle bracket HTML format. But if you get familiar with that, you will feel so comfortable. And even the web designer can use that to design the web page. Anyway, so we see this is just a div with two buttons, and that's the text. So there's two buttons, like decrease and increase. So when I click increase, it will increase the number. How we do that? This interesting is we have the update function. Oh, sorry. Let's look at the view again. We have the button, and the button have onClick function is the attribute. So attribute and HTML nodes. So it's a text. A minus means decrease. The magic is here onClick. onClick is a function. You pass a message or message type. The type of the message is the decrement. Then whenever the user clicks the button, the Elm runtime will generate a message. Because we say for unclick, we give them decrement. Then when user clicks that, the runtime will generate a message with the decrement, the type of message. Type of message is MSG and value is decrement. So how we handle that? Now we look at this, for example, in the Elm runtime. The view will generate HTML, the HTML page. Elm runtime will render that in a browser, and when user clicks any of the buttons, the Elm runtime will capture the user's interaction, will generate the message to update. You look at that. We have update function, and in the update function, we have two input parameters. One is the message, one is the model. So the model is the previous model. So how we handle this, we use the case statement, just case. To look at the message, if it's increment, we return a new model, just original model plus 1. If it's decrement, we return a model with original model minus 1. So the original model is very simple, it's just integer. So this is a very simple model. Then when user click the decrement or minus button, the update function will be called by the Elm runtime. And we look at the message, say, okay, this is the decrement, then we return model minus 1. So we click that, or minus 1. If you click plus button, that's more like message come out, then you can see. So any question about that? This is kind of totally different from other JavaScript programming. The model, this is a model view update, the way the Elm architecture hook up everything together. And this is the kind of simplest example to understand how it works, to understand how user interaction handled by the Elm architecture. Okay, so I think everybody understand. So we say Elm is a pure functional language. What does it mean, pure functional? Actually, the pure function means there's two guarantees. One guarantee is called same import, same output. That means when you have a function, if the function is pure, whenever you give the same import to the function, the output always the same, no matter what. So there's no kind of impact or influence by any of the outside or global state or whatever state. That means you give them the same input, they always have returned the same output. So that's one guarantee by the pure function. Another guarantee is called no side effect. That means if the function is pure, it won't change anything outside of the function, such as it won't change the file systems. It won't change the database. It won't do anything about database update or query, whatever. It won't call the HTTP. It won't do any of the UI or screen. So it's so interesting to say, okay, if there's no side effect, actually it do nothing. So, but actually, it's not do nothing. The runtime, Elm runtime, did everything for us. And we don't need to worry about the side effect. Okay, so let's just say the first guarantee is same import, same output. If we look at a random number, we say, no way. Because for example, JavaScript, when we want to get a random number, we call mass random. It's not pure. Because whenever we call that, it gives us a new number. Every time, suppose it's different. So that's not pure function. Now you ask, if in my application I need a random number, how can we do that? So because everything I code is pure, that means I cannot have the random number. If anything like a math.random is not pure function, I cannot have that. How can we do this? In Elm, we call random generate. So how this happens, let's just see, is really interesting. So in my application here, examples, we have a button called roll. Whenever I click a button, just see, I just roll the dice, and it gives me the random number from 1 to 6. So every time I click that, it gives me a random number. How can we do that? So let's see. We have a model that's type alias. They only have one attribute, or only one value is dice face. That means the number of the dice when we get that numbers. And we have init. When init, we say at first, when we first start, the model is just 1. By the way, when we have the model 1, it's a function. So it means we have a type alias. The name of type alias also becomes the function in Elm. We can pass parameter. It's just like we construct. It's called constructor. We construct the model records with the value of the die face called 1. So it's a nice way we code in Elm. Everything is kind of function. And we also have the message. The roll, that means I just roll the dice. We also have this new face. Let's see how it works. So look at the view first. The view is very, very simple. We have a model, and we have a div, and we have a text, H1 text. To show the die face value, we use a text, HTML text node to display the model's die face. We use the toString function to change integer to a string, and we pass the text. And we have another button called roll. And the button text is roll, and on click, that means when you use a click, they will generate a roll message. So very simple. So when we click the roll, the Elm runtime will generate a message called roll. Then update will handle that. So if this message roll, so how do you do that? The return of the update is a little bit different. In the previous example, the return is just a new model. Oh, sorry, let me see. Update. Yeah, it's just a model. But here, we return is a model and command. It's a tuple. What is command? Let's see. That's a little bit different. We talk about, in the Elm architecture, the view and update. So when user click something or do interactions, sometimes we don't do the actual things by ourselves. For example, when user click the roll button, we want to get a new random number. Actually, we didn't do the random generate by ourselves. We let the Elm runtime to do that. In order to do that, we need to send a command to the Elm runtime. Say, okay, Elm runtime, I need a random number. I give you a command. So the update function actually didn't change the model, but generate a command. The Elm runtime will capture command, then do some magic inside, then create a new message to update. So that's how this random application works. So when user click roll, we have the roll message. Actually, we return the same model. That means we don't touch the model. We don't change the model, the same model. But we ask to have the command. So we generate command. How we do that? So we don't need to understand the details, but look at this, try to understand in a pure English way, random generate. That means I want to have a random number. And this number will come back as a message, as a new phase message. And the value is the integer between 1 and 6. So if I explain like this way, can you understand clearly? That means I don't need to write details about how to have this random number. I just say, I want a random number. It's an integer between 1 to 6. And when you have that, pass me a message called new phase with the integer. So we say the new phase has a payload of integer. So next time, when the update function return the model with command, the model is the same, as we don't change the model, but with the command, the M runtime will look at the command and say, oh, this client wants to have a random number, it's an integer between 1 to 6. So I generate a random number magically from somewhere. Then I'll pass as a message. I would pass to update function again with the new phase message with the original model. The new phase message will have a payload, new phase, the actual random number. Then when I look at that, okay, I have a new phase. Then I return a model with a new phase. So the model, if you look at the model, it's a type alias with the I phase. And we talk about, this is also, model is the constructor. I pass new phase, they will generate a new record about this model with a new I phase value. So in this way, the M runtime, look at this, the update function, look at this, with the new phase, that means new random number, then they will return a new model with the command down, means no command, but model changed. Then HTML changed, then M runtime will capture the HTML change because the virtual DOM changed. They will compare the virtual DOM with original virtual DOM and find the change and update HTML. You will see HTML change. So that's how the M runtime handle the command. So I have another example of HTTP, but I'm out of time.
Prototype, yes.
Yeah, so but next few examples pretty much the same. I recommend just look at the Elm homepage. There's examples. They have lots of examples. Look at the code, such as command, HTTP, and subscriptions. Then you can understand how the Elm actually works. So just give me 2 minutes about the last slides, my thoughts. JavaScript fatigue. So there's so many JavaScript frameworks, tools, libraries, whatever, come out during the last 10 years. We are so overwhelmed. And the problem I found out is the more I learned, more depressed I was. And when I found Elm is simple, clean, and elegant. It brings the joy and happiness to my development life. So that's why I just want to learn. But still lots of work to do. And I'm not recommending using Elm as a production, although people say still lots of projects using Elm in production applications. I found it still not mature or complete enough to build a production of applications in production. Still several pain points. For example, the JSON decode. How to handle those JSON objects. I found out it's so tedious, very, very tedious. But fortunately, I think the creator, Yuan, is working on that. And lots of guys, like in the community, they try to simplify those JSON decode in a different way. So we are waiting for the next release, 0.19. They said they will have a new way to do that. and also the port. To communicate using the native JavaScript is a big pain. So this is another big issue. But I'm really interested in the server-side Elm. I can understand their position right now, so they want to focus on the web application using Elm. But in my opinion, I found out the strength of the functional or pure functional language is actually in the server side as well. So server side, I'm looking at if this said it would take years to put Elm in server side. So I may look at some different, because I learned like Clojure and Scala. I'm not satisfied with that. So I may look at like Kotlin and Elixir or whatever, try some server-side functional language. But if Elm can run in a server-side, especially can run inside JVM, that'd be fantastic. So hopefully, somebody will do some fancy or cool stuff to put the Elm in the server-side. So any question or? Okay.
What are you using Elm for at this point?
Actually, it's not for my daily job, because daily job I'm a Java developer. So interesting is I love the GUI or front-end development, but I never get much money from that. So all the money comes from the server side. So this is all just doing my personal, like a personal project, my website, because I also have my own open source project for the using Elm with the Bootstrap. So I have like my open source project with the Elm and Bootstrap and Webpack put together as a starter. So for the single page applications. So I just keep working on that to polish that, add more and more stuff into this. So that's my main focus when I learn Elm.
Well, why don't we wrap it there? Are you going to come for drinks after?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, that was really informative. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you.
Thanks for watching. Exchange.js is Edmonton's JavaScript meetup. Subscribe for all our videos, then stay informed by following us on Twitter and meetup.com. Links in the description. Thanks to our sponsors, Jobber and Clio. Do your part to support the meetup and like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.